Hey, I'm Dr. Patty Barch, and you can also find me on Rumble. And this video is about the ignorant anti-vaxxers. So I was flying yesterday and I spent some extra time on social media, and someone posted that their surgery was being postponed because of the people who wouldn't get the injection. And then the gates of hell opened up and people started spewing hatred and judgment and venom. I mean, the comments were along the lines of, you should stay home and die, they should kick you out of the hospital, you're ignorant, self-centered, misinformed, stubborn fools. And it really, first of all, nothing is ever accomplished with hatred, right? Nothing is accomplished through judgment. Things get accomplished, problems get solved with communication and education, right? Like, to actually stop making assumptions or letting the media tell you why people aren't getting these things. You really should have a conversation with people to find out, like, so why aren't you getting these injections? What is it? What is it that you believe or you've seen or you understand that you make a decision different than from what I might make? So why don't you ask those questions instead of just judging people as basically sociopaths? Because a big part of what's wrong with these comments is there's a blatant misunderstanding of virology and immunology. And so people are getting, quote, educated from the media. And so they think they understand how it works. And it's just so freaking wrong. So people think you get something put in your arm and then there's like this bubble around you and you can walk around in your bubble and no, the virus cannot get you. And that is absurd. You can still breathe that thing in your nose and it can still replicate and make copies of itself, and you can still exhale particles that the next person can come in. You are not in a bubble. So the whole idea of like, oh, if you had the shots, you can go to a college football game, or you can go to Oktoberfest, or, all of these things where you're around people in close proximity who, whether or not they have the thing put in their arm, that thing can get up their nose and make copies of itself and be excreted. In theory, the people who get it, the benefit to them is that they don't die from it, right? They get less symptoms. And that's a topic for another video. But there's nothing out there that shows at this point that there's any decrease in your ability to spread the virus if you got the thing in your arm. And in fact, there is some science that shows that you could actually become a super spreader if you got the thing in your arm, but you are going out and about your business and not taking any kinds of precautions. So virology lesson number 1, something in your arm does not create a force field around your body. So the other thing to take into consideration is semantics. So the definition of unvaccinated. And let me just tell you that if you're following the three-letter organization websites, you're noticing that they changed the definition of what unvaccinated is to suit their manipulation of the data. So unvaccinated right now is someone who is within 2 weeks of their final injection. So either you've never gotten a shot, you've only gotten 1 shot and 2 are required, or you've gotten 2 shots, but it's not 2 weeks after your second shot. Right? So those things all mean you're put in the unvaccinated column. So you've had 1 shot, you're unvaccinated. You've had 2 shots and 13 days later, you're still considered unvaccinated. Okay? 2 shots and 14 days later, that's when you're considered vaccinated if you're in a 2-shot model. But here's the other thing that gets you put into the unvaccinated category. So one is if you got your shot at an injection center, right? So something like at the pharmacy, you went to Walgreens or Target Pharmacy, or you went to a vaccine event, or you did a drive-through vaccine thing, right? If you got your shot outside of the hospital or medical system that you are participating in, they don't automatically get that in their records. So, unless they explicitly ask you if you've gotten the vaccine, you're considered unvaccinated. So there are countless people who are in the hospital who have gotten the injections that they got the injections on an off-site location at some sort of vaccination event or center, and it's not in their medical record. And a few months ago, they stopped asking. There was, in some hospital systems, there was like a check-in line on the form that said, did you get the COVID vaccines? If so, when? And they might want to know the lot number and which vaccine you got, and the detailed information. But I actually just went and had some blood work done last week, and I had this huge, stupid check-in sheet that they want me to fill out that I just put decline to answer, because mind your business, just do my blood work that I want. But they never asked on the intake form. They never asked if I had received that vaccine. So you have all these people, and so some nurses and some healthcare practitioners are actually asking their patients who are in because they have a positive test, either they're getting the monoclonal antibody infusions or they've been hospitalized, they're actually asking them, did you get the vaccines? And then they will go into the computer, or they may go into the computer and then change the vaccination status from unvaccinated to vaccinated. So I want you to understand that a lot of the people who are lumped into the unvaccinated group are actually vaccinated. They've had one vaccine, they've had two vaccines, and they're within the 14 days of the second shot, or they